She dismissed the janitor for a ball toss revealed the amazing truth that transformed everything. Jenna was the undisputed star of Pine Grove High. Every Friday night she commanded the field like a queen, her fierce competitiveness matched only by her dazzling smile. She exuded confidence and status, like a shining beacon among her peers. But one warm afternoon in gym class, the spotlight shifted in a way she never saw coming. As she glanced over at Mr. Thompson, the quiet janitor, wiping down the bleachers while her friends tossed around a ball, Jenna rolled her eyes and shouted, "Hey! Look at Mr. Clean! Too good for a game?" Laughter erupted, filling the gym. Mr. Thompson stood there, his smile fading, invisible amidst the sea of chuckling teens. She didn't know, but he fought battles far beyond what anyone could see. Life in Pine Grove was sweet until it turned sour. Jenna was on top of the world until the day when her father, the rock of their family, lost his job. Just like that, her privileges evaporated. Her parents' hushed whispers turned into strained silences over dinner, each missed grocery run cutting deeper into her heart. The realities of their strain felt like a tidal wave crashing down on her, leaving her gasping. What was her status worth now? Then something shifted in Jenna. The world began to open up in ways she had never noticed before. It started with casual conversations with Mr. Thompson. The janitor wasn't just a man in a uniform. He was a Vietnam War veteran with stories etched into his soul. Each chat revealed his wisdom: how to stand tall amidst hardships, how to see others for who they truly were. Suddenly, the janitor was no longer invisible. He became a guiding light in her darkening world. As she absorbed his lessons, compassion bloomed, challenging her prior notions. But it was at that mandatory assembly that the real test arrived. The air was thick with anticipation when a classmate made an ugly joke at Mr. Thompson's expense, the laughter churning in a nauseating wave through the auditorium. Jenna's heart raced as she watched him shrink under the cruel spotlight. She felt a fire ignite within. This was her moment. She could feel it pulsing in her veins. The fear of judgment from her peers collided with a fierce need to defend the dignity of a man who had earned her respect. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Jenna steadied herself, inhaling deeply as the murmurs grew louder. Time slowed as she stepped forward, her resolve crystallizing like ice in her veins. Would she speak up? Would she be the voice of reason when it felt easiest to walk away? The glances from her peers pierced through her a crucible of judgment. But in that moment, nothing mattered more than standing up for what was right, for a heart that had endured so much and deserved to be heard. As she prepared to speak, the weight of her decision brushed against her soul, pushing her closer to a transformation that neither she nor Mr. Thompson could have ever expected. Jenna cleared her throat, the sound barely breaking through the cacophony of laughter that rippled across the auditorium. Heart pounding, she felt her breath hitch in her throat. Every pair of eyes in the room drilled into her. Would they support her or mock her for standing up? Enough! The word burst from her lips, powerful and raw, silencing the room. The laughter faded, replaced by a hush laden with disbelief. It wasn't the response she had expected. In that fleeting moment, she saw Mr. Thompson's eyes widen in surprise, his weary expression flickering with hope. You think it's funny to make fun of someone just doing their job? She continued, her voice steadier now, emboldened by the shift in energy. Mr. Thompson is more than just a janitor. He's a husband, a father, and a veteran. He fought for this country, for people like us. How can we disrespect that? Gasps echoed across the auditorium. Jenna could feel her cheeks heat, but the warmth wasn't just from embarrassment. It was a fire igniting within her, melting away the remnants of her former self. She glanced at the assembled crowd, looking for signs of agreement. It was risky, standing against the tide, but she felt the weight of her choice settling into her bones. Across the room, her friends exchanged glances, some of them appearing shocked, others shifting uncomfortably. In that moment, nothing she had worried about the popularity, the judgment mattered as much as the truths she was unleashing. Mr. Thompson looked on, the faint trace of a smile breaking through his stoic demeanor. What if, she wondered, he could feel her sincerity wrapping around him like a lifeline, lifting him back from the shadows? Suddenly, someone in the back shouted, "Yeah! We shouldn't make fun of him." It was Joe, the school's star linebacker, normally the one stirring up the jokes. Jenna hardly recognized his voice, but in those words came a ripple of momentum. One by one, a chorus of support surged through the crowd, echoing in a way she had never imagined. "Give him a break!" Another student yelled, and soon the auditorium was filled with a mix of cheers and claps, a thunderous chorus drowning out past laughter. Mr. Thompson's shoulders relaxed. Jenna saw a spark in his eyes. In that moment she realized that her voice held power more than she had ever realized. But a nagging thought tugged at her heart. What had she just ignited? Shouldering the weight of this newfound influence terrified her. Would her peers redefine their perception of her? Would she lose them once and for all? As the applause faded, Mr. Thompson cleared his throat, and Jenna turned to him, ready to support him through this unexpected surge of camaraderie. He caught her eye, gratitude blooming in his gaze. "Thank you, Jenna," he said softly, just loud enough for her to hear over the chatter. His smile, once timid, now radiated dignity, a respect she had never thought he would receive from a crowd like theirs. But then, before she could process it all, the principal stepped onto the stage, gripping the microphone tightly. "We will address this immediately," he announced, his tone serious. "We need to have a conversation about respect, not just for our staff but for each other." Jenna's heart raced. What would this mean for her, for Mr. Thompson? Would her words have lasting impact, or would it all fade back into the background noise once this assembly ended? And most importantly, what would happen next? With questions swirling in her mind, she felt the weight of the moment hang heavy in the air. What was the right path forward? Jenna wondered. Little did she know, the journey was just beginning. Jenna couldn't shake the tremor in her hands as she stepped back to her seat. The auditorium buzzed with renewed energy, but inside she felt a storm brewing. Each clap, each cheer echoed in her mind, reminding her of what she had just done, what she had just started. Her friends, the ones she had counted on for support, now stared at her with a mixture of awe and confusion. She could see whispers exchanging like fireflies under the fluorescent lights, illuminating their surprise. What lay ahead of her? Would they still want to be friends with the girl who stood up for a janitor? As Mr. Thompson took a step forward, visibly touched by the support, Jenna felt a knot tighten in her stomach. She wanted to scream that he deserved this moment, yet she feared for her own. What if they'd see her as an outcast instead of a leader? Mr. Thompson cleared his throat again, but this time, his voice rang out with clarity and strength. "Thank you, everyone. It means more than you know." The words held weight, wrapping around Jenna like a warm blanket. He glanced at her, and she felt her heart swell as though they shared an unspoken understanding. As the principal launched into a speech about respect and kindness, Jenna found her thoughts drifting. Her mind flashed back to all the times she had let laughter drown out her better judgment. All the moments she'd chosen silence over standing up. A tidal wave of guilt washed over her. But guilt didn't have to be a weight she carried alone. It could be a part of something bigger. The principal's voice broke her reverie. "As a school, we need to do better," he declared. "We'll be initiating activities aimed at fostering respect, empathy, and community." Jenna felt a hand squeeze her shoulder. It was Tara, one of her closest friends. "You were amazing," Tara whispered, her eyes shimmering with excitement. Jenna opened her mouth to thank her friend but was cut off when Joe stood again. "Let us do a week of respect, yeah? Maybe even make it fun. We could have a bake sale for the janitorial staff." This time, the laughter that rippled around the auditorium felt different, joyful, united. The idea spread like wildfire, igniting nods of approval and smiles. Jenna couldn't help but grin. The energy shifted, filling the space with warmth and light. But amidst the happiness, Jenna's thoughts lingered on the deeper implications. Would the changes be enough? She knew this wasn't just about Mr. Thompson or one assembly, it was about something far greater. The latest headlines flashed through her mind, stories of bullying, disrespect, tension in schools. This was a pivotal moment, and she wondered desperately if they could create real change. When the assembly ended, students filed out, but Jenna lingered, watching Mr. Thompson as he spoke to a few students, their expressions transformed from disdain to admiration. She took a deep breath, making a decision. She would approach him, to connect and understand more. Maybe even to learn from his experiences. As she stepped closer, someone grabbed her arm. It was Chris, the boy who had orchestrated the original taunts. "Hey, Jenna," he stammered, his bravado shaken. "I didn't mean for it to go that far. I didn't think what you didn't think was." Jenna started, but the words caught in her throat. She saw the rumble of regret in his eyes. This was complicated. He was still a classmate, someone she had known for years. Could they talk? Her heart pounded with uncertainty. Would he really want to change? She hesitated, feeling the weight of every decision that had led her here. "We can talk, but we need to be honest," she finally said, her voice steady. As they moved to the side, Jenna felt a flicker of hope. This was the beginning of a fight for respect, not just for Mr. Thompson, but for everyone. But in the depths of her heart, a question simmered: could she truly lead others towards empathy, or would she lose herself in the fight? The next chapter of her life was unfolding, and she felt a surge of courage deepen within her. All she needed now was the resolve to push through, no matter the challenge. Was she ready to face the unexpected challenges that lay ahead? Jenna stood beside Chris, her heart racing. She could sense the change in the air, and it was both exhilarating and terrifying. They were no longer just classmates. In this moment, they were two people trying to navigate a path out of the shadows of misunderstanding. "Listen," she began, taking a breath to steady herself. "It's not just about what happened today. It's everything. People can feel marginalized, you know? Just like Mr. Thompson did. A little kindness goes a long way." Chris nodded but looked away, his gaze lost in the crowd filtering out of the auditorium. "I never meant to hurt him or anyone," he mumbled, his voice barely audible over the fading applause. "I thought it was funny, but it wasn't." "Then why did you do it?" Jenna pressed gently, trying to catch his eyes. "Because you thought it was funny? Or because everyone else was laughing?" He sighed, shoulders drooping. "I guess it's easier to go along with the crowd. I thought it made me look cool. I didn't think. I really didn't." Jenna could see the struggle in his face, and for the first time, something shifted in her. There was vulnerability, a crack in the tough exterior he often wore. "I get it," she said softly. "We all want to fit in. But you have to realize it's not cool to bring others down." His eyes met hers, and the sincerity in his expression left her breathless. "I want to do better. Can you help me?" Jenna let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. This was the opening she hadn't expected. "Sure. We can start together. Like the bake sale idea, we can organize events to promote kindness. If we work on this together." She paused, realizing the potential there. "Maybe we can inspire others to join." He nodded eagerly, the flicker of hope igniting passions she had not seen in him before. "Yeah. We could even talk to Principal Donovan about a student-led initiative." "Yes. Let us do it." Jenna felt the rush of excitement course through her veins. For the first time, she envisioned something real, something that could bring real change. But just as she began to feel optimistic, another feeling crept in: doubt. What if this was just a phase for Chris? What if he reverted to his old behavior the moment it became difficult? She pushed the thoughts away, focusing instead on the possibility blooming between them, a chance to transform their school's culture, and maybe even their friendship. As they exchanged ideas, laughter bubbled around them. Tara joined them, her smile wide, and soon other friends began piling in. "What's this about an initiative?" Tara asked, her curiosity piqued. Jenna glanced at Chris, and before she could respond, he beamed, "Jenna's going to help me bring respect back to our school." The crowd's reaction shifted instantly. There were murmurs of excitement, encouragement, even claps when Tara chimed in, "Let us do it. Count me in." It felt electric. Jenna's spirits soared. The energy around her was so powerful. They were all stepping away from the edge of complacency. Yet, in the midst of their enthusiasm, a nagging question pulled at Jenna's mind. Could one conversation really lead to a movement? Could Chris sustain this newfound sense of responsibility? As they began tossing around ideas, Jenna realized they were at a tipping point. They could either create a ripple effect of kindness and respect, or they could lose momentum before it began. The challenge stretched ahead of her, bright and daunting. They had to take it seriously, starting now. As she looked at Chris, his eager expression, the determination in Tara's eyes, the supportive group around her, she felt her heart steady. "Let us make this happen," Jenna said, resolve washing over her. But even as she spoke, a lingering doubt gnawed at her. Was she ready to take on the weight of leadership? Was every participant's heart truly in it? The next phase was just beginning, yet Jenna wondered, when the facade fell away, would they be able to uphold their promise? The following week unfolded with a mix of excitement and apprehension. Jenna felt a flutter in her stomach every time she walked through the school doors. There was a new energy buzzing amongst her peers. Posters of their initiative, titled "Kindness is Cool," were plastered across walls, and a weekly meeting buzzed with students eager to contribute. The cafeteria soon transformed from a place of casual chatter to one of deep discussion. Tables were pushed together, papers sprawled out as ideas flowed like the fresh lemonade at their bake sale. Jenna watched as Chris mingled with students, their laughter mixing with the clatter of cafeteria trays. It was a sight she had never expected, seeing Chris stepping away from the sidelines to take charge. Yet, the shadows of doubt still lingered in Jenna's thoughts. Each success felt bittersweet. Would this enthusiasm last? Would they crumble when someone inevitably disagreed or when the efforts became too much of a challenge? As she tucked her hair behind her ear, she caught sight of Principal Donovan observing the gatherings from the doorway. His expression was neutral, but a hint of curiosity lingered in his eyes. Finally, the day arrived for their first big meeting to present their ideas to the principal. Jenna's heart raced as she prepared with Chris and Tara. They rehearsed their speeches until every point seemed crisp and clear. As they stood outside the office, Jenna felt the weight of leadership pressing on her like a heavy backpack. "Remember what we discussed," Chris said, trying to mask his own nerves. "We're not just making a pitch, we're sharing our passion." Their moment arrived. The door creaked open, and the principal's office was a mix of stern walls and motivational posters with bright letters. They stepped in, the tension palpable. Principal Donovan listened carefully as they explained their vision. At moments, Jenna could feel her voice trembling, but Chris was there, chiming in with enthusiasm. "We want to create a culture where everyone feels valued. We can lead activities, host events, and make sure every student feels included." He leaned forward, intrigued. "And how do you propose to get your classmates to engage? Many initiatives fizzle out." Tara, with bright eyes, leaned forward. "We want this to be student-driven. It's not just us leading, it's about getting everyone involved, making it their cause too." There was a moment of silence as Principal Donovan pondered their suggestions. "That's ambitious, but I can see your passion. I'm willing to support you," he finally said, his tone shifting into one of encouragement. "However, you'll need to communicate regularly. I'll be expecting updates." A chorus of thank you rang out as they left the office, high on victory. The initial euphoria had them exchanging high fives, but Jenna's heart still trembled. Was it really enough? The next few weeks were a whirlwind. They collected stories from students, shared experiences, organized events, and even set up a kindness wall where compliments could be posted anonymously. Jenna watched change unfold around her. Students who previously kept to themselves began participating, smiling and even helping each other. But as momentum built, so did the whispers of doubt. One chilly Tuesday, Jenna overheard some students snickering. "They think they can change everything with a few good deeds," one laughed. Jenna felt her heart sink. With each setback, her hope wavered slightly. She steeled herself, determined not to show any cracks. But as they prepared for their biggest event, a school-wide kindness day, Jenna found herself at a crossroads. Could she lead her friends through the storm of skepticism? Could they truly make a difference despite the negativity? That evening, as she stared at the colorful posters still unfinished on her desk, she wondered how much longer the spirit of change could hold up against criticism. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. Chris peeked inside, his expression hesitant. "Can we talk?" he asked, and Jenna saw uncertainty mixed with determination in his eyes. This was it. The night felt heavy with unspoken fears and dreams. As they sat together, the conversation would take them deeper than either of them expected. Would this moment reveal their true commitment to their cause or send them spiraling into doubt? Jenna crossed her arms, her thoughts swirling like leaves in the wind. Chris took a seat across from her, and for a moment silence filled the room. She could see the struggle in his eyes, a mix of hope and fear. "I know things are harder than we thought," he began slowly. "But I believe we can still turn this around." "What if we can't?" Jenna's voice trembled, emotions rising to the surface. "I keep trying to convince myself we're making a difference, but I don't know. I keep hearing those snickers behind my back." Chris leaned in, his voice softer now. "You're not alone in this. If we let those voices get to us, everything we've built will fall apart. We need to focus on the good. Remember why we started?" Her heart ached at his words. They started this to bring kindness into their world, to foster empathy where there was none. But how could they do that when the doubt was so loud? "We've got the kindness day coming up," she reminded him, trying to anchor her thoughts. "What if no one shows up?" "They will," Chris said, nodding forcefully. "They just need to see they're welcome. We need to encourage them, make it exciting. Remember how much fun we had organizing the bake sale? We create that buzz again, and they won't want to miss out." Jenna managed a small smile at the thought, but it was soon overshadowed by a looming concern. What if it's just us? What if it turns into an embarrassing flop? Or what if it's a huge success? Chris shot back, a spark igniting in his eyes. "We can't predict the outcome without trying. Sometimes even small things can lead to monumental shifts. Like that time at the park, when a random act of kindness restored our faith in each other." Jenna tilted her head slightly, recalling how they had helped that little girl regain her lost puppy, and how the whole park had shared in the joy of the reunion. The smile on the girl's face had been worth more than any trophy. "You're right, maybe we just need one moment to capture their hearts," she admitted, feeling a little lighter. "Exactly. And it starts with us." As they resumed planning, ideas flowed more freely. They mapped out fun activities for Kindness Day, games with friendly competition, and a kindness mural that would invite every student to contribute. Laughter mixed with their discussions, and Jenna felt her spirit lift, a sense of clarity breaking through the fog of anxiety. Later that week, as the day approached, Jenna noticed a change. Whispers of curiosity drifted through the halls. Students were asking about the activities, the games, the treats, and the mural they planned to kick off during lunch. The buzz felt electric, and for the first time in weeks, Jenna believed they might just pull it off. But the night before the event, a message popped up on their planning group chat. It was Sarah, someone Jenna had always admired from a distance but never really spoke to. This time, her words carried weight. "Hey guys, I think we need to talk. Something's come up about the event." Jenna's heart raced again. She paused, staring at the screen. What could possibly go wrong now? "That could be serious," Chris said, picking up on her unease. "Do you think she's against us?" "I hope not, but maybe we should find out," Jenna replied, uncertainty wrapping around her like a heavy blanket. They agreed to meet Sarah the next day before school. As Jenna lay in bed that night, thoughts swirled through her mind. What if Sarah had doubts? What if their plans were falling apart right before their eyes? But then she remembered that day at the park, and how they had turned despair into hope. Maybe, just maybe, they could do it again. The sun rose bright and promising, but as she entered school, the atmosphere felt heavier than before. A small knot twisted in her stomach as she approached Sarah, who was waiting by the lockers. Jenna braced herself, the air thick with tension. "Hey, can we talk?" Sarah's eyes were serious, but Jenna noticed a hint of something softer beneath them. That hint was enough to make Jenna's heart skip a beat. What would Sarah reveal? Would this be the breakthrough or the breaking point? Jenna's stomach churned, a mix of trepidation and curiosity swirling inside her. Sarah stood before her, the usual confident demeanor replaced with a more vulnerable expression. Jenna glanced at Chris, who shifted anxiously beside her. "Sure, let us find a quiet place," Sarah said, leading them towards an empty classroom. Once inside, she closed the door gently, her back pressed against it as if to seal the conversation in. Jenna's mind raced with possibilities. "Look, I wanted to talk about Kindness Day," Sarah started, her voice steady but unsure. "I think it's a fantastic idea. But I've heard some rumors." Jenna felt the blood drain from her face. "Rumors? About us?" Sarah hesitated, glancing at the floor. "Yeah. Some people think it's a waste of time. That no one will show up, and that you two are just making fools of yourselves." Pain shot through Jenna's chest. The whispers she'd heard were real. "But we're trying to do something good. Something positive," she managed, her voice cracking. "I know," Sarah replied, her tone softening. "But there's also talk of people pulling pranks, like messing with the mural or ruining the games. I thought you should hear it from me before it spirals out of control." Jenna felt Chris tense beside her, anger and hurt flickering across his face. "That's just so petty," he said, frustration edging into his voice. "Do they really think ruining a kindness event is funny?" "They do," Sarah admitted. "But we can change it. If we show them we're serious and passionate about this, maybe they'll reconsider." "I want to help." Jenna's heart jumped. "You do? But why?" "Because I've seen the change you guys have already made," Sarah confessed, her voice steadying with newfound determination. "That day in the park? It inspired me too. I think we can make this work, but only if we stand together." Jenna blinked back tears. Sarah had been an unapproachable figure for so long, bright and popular. To hear that Jenna's and Chris's efforts had inspired her was like a light breaking through the murky fog. "Okay," Jenna said. "What can we do?" "We need a plan." Chris nodded in agreement. "We can't let the negative energy win. We'll create a buzz that can't be ignored." They began brainstorming. Sarah suggested an outreach campaign to gather those on the fence about attending. They could post flyers, create a countdown on social media, and even reach out directly to students who had previously been involved in organizing events. Each idea sparked more energy, and Jenna felt hope reigniting within her. "This could be amazing," she said, her voice filled with excitement as the adrenaline surged through her. "We'll share our vision and include others. We'll show them the true power of kindness." With each passing moment, Jenna realized how powerful unity could be. But as the conversation flowed, a new worry settled in her gut. "But what if it doesn't work?" she suddenly asked, the vulnerability creeping back in. "We just need to try," Sarah said firmly, her gaze locking with Jenna's. "And if anyone tries to mess with us, we'll stand together to protect what we've built." Inspired, Jenna smiled. "Together," she repeated, the word feeling stronger than before. But that night, as Jenna lay in bed, her thoughts kept racing. What if the plan backfired? What if the very people they were trying to reach turned against them? She pulled her blanket tighter around her shoulders, heart pounding as she thought of Kindness Day. Morning felt like a challenge waiting to unfold. When the sun peeked through the curtains, Jenna realized it was time. She was ready to face whatever came, but somewhere deep down, a voice whispered anxiously, was it enough? As she got ready, she found herself staring into the mirror, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. What awaited her at school? Would the tides truly turn in their favor, or would they face a storm no one had prepared for? Jenna took a deep breath and stepped outside, ready to embrace the day or what was left of it, fearing the unknown ahead. Would kindness find its place, or would chaos reign instead? Jenna stepped into the school, the sound of buzzing chatter enveloping her like a thick fog. Her palms felt clammy against the smooth fabric of her shirt. Everywhere she looked, groups of students huddled together, some laughing, others whispering. With every step her heart raced. She spotted Chris by the entrance, flipping through the stack of flyers they had printed. "How are you holding up?" he asked, concern etched across his face. "Just trying to work through the nerves," Jenna admitted, giving a small smile. "Today's a big day." "Yeah, but we've got this. Sarah's with us now, too." "I mean, who would thought that would happen?" Chris grinned, shaking his head. "Right. I didn't see that coming," Jenna replied, feeling a spark of hope ignite within her. Maybe they had a strength they couldn't see yet. They made their way to the cafeteria, where tables were set up for their kindness activities. Colorful decorations hung from the ceiling, and Jenna took a deep breath, trying to take in the environment. But then, the laughter turned sharp as it floated through the air. A table of students next to them, mocking the very idea of Kindness Day. "Look at these losers," one of them sneered. "What a waste of time." Jenna's stomach twisted at the ridicule. "Do they really think this is funny?" she muttered, ready to retort. But Chris squeezed her arm, grounding her. "Let it go, Jenna. Focus on what we are doing," he whispered. As they set up, Jenna caught glimpses of familiar faces. Some were friendly, other expressions a mix of judgment and indifference. Just when resignation started creeping in, a ripple of laughter cascaded through the gathering crowd. Jenna turned around to see Sarah weaving through the throng, her natural charisma drawing others in like a moth to a flame. "Hey! Don't forget to check in at the kindness table," Sarah chimed, beckoning people with her enthusiastic gestures. Jenna marveled at the shift. Sarah had truly transformed into not just an ally but a beacon of encouragement. As they continued setting up, Jenna felt a weight lift slightly. Maybe, just maybe, things were looking up. The minutes dragged into what felt like hours, and as the clock ticked closer to kickoff, anticipation filled the air like static. It was hard to shake the gnawing anxiety in her stomach. Would they pull it off? Finally, the bell rang, and students began to file in, the energy palpable. Jenna and Chris stood at the entrance, greeting peers, handing out flyers, and sharing smiles. But then, just as enthusiasm began to bubble, she noticed a group of boys approaching, their eyes gleaming with mischief. "Great, look who decided to show up, the Kindness Patrol," one of them cynical called out. A shiver ran through Jenna. Were they here to cause trouble? Suddenly, a shrill whistle pierced the air. It was Mr. Dawson, the janitor. He had been quietly observing the event from afar, his wise eyes taking in the surrounding chaos and camaraderie. "Hey! You kids!" he called out. "If you're going to mess with them, you better think twice." Jenna's heart raced. His support felt unexpected yet powerful. The boys faltered, glancing nervously at Mr. Dawson, but one of them shot back. "What do you care?" "Because kindness matters more than you think," he replied, his voice calm and steady. "You wouldn't want to miss being part of something important." A moment of silence hung in the air, and Jenna watched as the tension diffused, the laughter turning from derision to hesitance. Mr. Dawson's presence, solid and unwavering, felt like a shield wrapping around them. Maybe it would be enough. Maybe they were already making an impact. Jenna went back to handing out flyers, full of newfound courage. But in the back of her mind, one question lingered: could one day truly change everything, or was it just the beginning of a larger battle to come? As the event kicked off, she couldn't help but wonder who else might show up uninvited, and what surprises awaited them beyond the threshold of Kindness Day. The cafeteria buzzed with a mix of excitement and uncertainty as students flitted about, many adorned with the bright colors of Kindness Day. Jenna felt a swell of energy, but her heart still thumped wildly at the corners of her chest. The boys had walked away under Mr. Dawson's watchful gaze, but she knew they might return. "Look at all these people," Chris said, his voice bubbling over with enthusiasm. He grabbed Jenna by the shoulders, shaking her a little. "See? They care." Jenna smiled, forcing herself to believe him. She glanced around, taking in the wide range of faces. From those excited to participate to others who still seemed skeptical, it was hard to read the crowd. Her gaze landed on Sarah, who was weaving through groups, chatting animatedly. Each interaction seemed to bring a magnetic pull of energy. She was unstoppable. Suddenly, Jenna was jolted back to reality as she noticed a familiar face: Emma, the queen bee of their class. She sauntered in with her entourage, their laughter clear and loud, slicing through the camaraderie. Jenna's stomach dropped. Memories of being snubbed and picked apart by them in the past came rushing back, but she pushed those thoughts down. Let us do our best, okay? We're about kindness now, remember? Chris reminded her, his gaze following Jenna's. Right, she nodded, determination settling in. But just then, Emma's laughter rose above the others, sharp and cutting. Kindness Day? How pathetic! She chortled, and the laughter from her group echoed like a warning bell. Jenna clenched her fists, watching as people near Emma shifted uncomfortably. It was as if someone had turned the volume down on the edges of their joy. She felt the pressure building inside her, a bubble threatening to pop. But before she could overthink it, Sarah approached Emma, boldly smiling. I think kindness is a great way to start conversations and make friends, she chimed, her voice vibrant. Friends? Emma chuckled. You mean like these losers? She motioned at Jenna and Chris. The room had fallen into a tense silence, and Jenna felt exposed, her breath quickening. But just then, a wave of unexpected laughter erupted from the crowd, coming from a couple of younger students who had been eavesdropping. They began imitating Emma's haughty voice, all in good fun, and it sent erratic ripples of laughter through the remaining students. Don't let them get to you, Jenna, Chris murmured, his presence steady beside her. This is what it's all about, sticking together. Feeling lighter, Jenna took a deep breath. You're right. If they want to throw shade, we shine brighter. Just then, Mr. Dawson returned to the scene, a twinkle in his eye. He had been set on the sidelines, witnessing the unfolding drama, and Jenna found herself meeting his gaze. She felt bolstered by his support. Hey, Mr. Dawson, she called, her voice cutting through the noise. Can we get some advice on how to handle bullies? Everyone turned to him, curious. Mr. Dawson approached, a smile warming his face. You know, kids, it's best to respond with kindness. Kill them with kindness, they say. In that moment, a ripple of hope surged through Jenna. Maybe they could truly transform the day into something special after all. But just as quickly, the crowd began to stir again. She could sense something brewing. A glance over her shoulder revealed a few more students arriving, led by a skeptical member of the very group Emma belonged to. What is happening here? He called. Jenna held her breath, not ready for another confrontation. The energy shifted once more, her heart racing. Would this day end in laughter and connection, or was something darker looming ahead? With the air thick with expectations, Jenna's mind raced with possibilities. What would it take to truly change hearts today? And what would this be like once it was all said and done? As the whispers of uncertainty filled the cafeteria, Jenna's heart raced, a mix of excitement and fear coursing through her. This moment was their moment. It could mean everything, and yet it could also fall flat. The arrival of more students only amplified the buzz, but with that, her stomach tightened. Would this day be remembered as a victory for kindness? Or would it crumble under sneers and taunts? All right, everyone, Chris shouted, pulling Jenna from her thoughts. Welcome to Kindness Day. We've got activities, a mural to paint, and games to play. We want you all to join us in spreading positivity. The words hung in the air, and she watched as unsure looks turned to tentative smiles. It was a small shift, but still a shift. Jenna felt a flicker of hope ignite. Sarah took center stage, her charisma hypnotizing the crowd. Kindness can change the world, but we need every one of you to make it happen. Let us celebrate our differences. And somehow, despite the lingering tension, people began to gather around. Laughter and light chatter resumed, swelling around them as groups formed to join in the fun. Jenna couldn't help but feel buoyed by the growing energy. But Emma and her crew were still a looming presence, their cynical laughter reminding everyone of the harsh realities. Jenna steeled herself. She had faced the shadows of doubt before. She could do it again. The first activity was set up a giant kindness mural where everyone could write messages of encouragement. "Let us show them how it's done," she whispered to Chris, who nodded. The first few students stepped forward, their pens shaking slightly. Jenna watched as they wrote their thoughts, the words flowing onto the canvas. "Funny how the toughest rock can hide the most precious gem," one eighth grader scrawled, and the ripple effect began. More students joined in, each message seeming to drown out the cynicism. "Hey, are you lost?" Emma's mocking voice sliced through the air as she approached. Jenna felt the heat rise to her cheeks, but she refused to let fear take hold. Just inspiring kindness, Jenna shot back, confidence bubbling up unexpectedly. "Want to join us?" Emma scoffed, but a couple of students near her leaned in closer, intrigued. "Come on, Em. Give it a try," one of them chirped, eyes glinting mischievously. Jenna locked eyes with Emma, daring her to say something. But instead of a fight, something remarkable happened. Emma hesitated, her bravado faltering for the first time. "Fine," she said, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear, a hint of curiosity flickering across her face. "Let us see what this nonsense is all about." A mix of gasps and laughter erupted, but it felt strangely liberating. Then, the unexpected happened. As Emma stepped toward the mural, the tension slowly dissolved. She picked up a marker and wrote, "Kindness starts with understanding. Let us try." Cheers erupted. Jenna felt a wave of relief wash over her. Perhaps today would weave a new layer of unity in their community. The school buzzed with excitement as more and more joined in, filling the kindness mural with messages of hope. Each stroke of the marker transformed not just the canvas but hearts too. Jenna felt kindness flourishing before her eyes. The rest of the day unfolded in laughter and bonding. Games sparked friendly competition, snacks were shared, building connections. Even the old tension started to fade, and Jenna felt lighter. Eventually, Mr. Dawson gathered everyone around him. "I want to say how proud I am of all of you. You took a day that could have been filled with teasing and turned it into a celebration of support." Everyone erupted in cheers, echoing back the kindness they had learned. Jenna's heart swelled with pride, not for herself but for the community they had all begun to build. She had never imagined that the lesson she learned from Mr. Thompson could spread so wide. It brought people together in the most unexpected ways. As the bell rang, signaling the end of the day, students exchanged numbers and made plans to meet up for further acts of kindness. Jenna stood with Chris and Sarah, all reflected in their eyes. "Can you believe it?" Chris asked, laughter spilling from him. "We did it." Jenna nodded, beaming. "We did. This is just the beginning." And as they walked outside, a vibrant mural behind them telling the tale of their day, Jenna realized change was possible. She had found her voice, and together, they had created a ripple of kindness that would echo throughout Pine Grove High. As her friends cheered, Jenna couldn't help but feel a deep gratitude for the journey they had shared, a journey of growth, understanding, and the power of standing up for what was right. This was more than just a school event. It was a movement, a testament to what compassion could achieve when hearts opened up. Now was the time to continue building this dream, and as the sun set, casting a warm glow over the reunited school spirit, she whispered, "Let us keep pushing forward." A spark had ignited. Now it was their mission to carry it forward together. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.